Evolution, where construction meets innovation.
Evolution. Let's build the future together.
Okay, so like anyone who works around buildings or, just in the world of construction and real estate in general, there's this like big question looming, right? It's like this feeling that AI is going to completely change everything.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've got this really fascinating article to help us kind of untangle it all. It's called Zukunft der Arbeit KI als Partner oder Konkurrent. So for anyone who doesn't speak German,
Right.
that translates to Future of Work AI as Partner or Competitor.
I think that title alone is already so provocative.
Yeah,
It really sets the stage for this whole discussion.
absolutely. So this article was published on Bauvolution, which, if you haven't checked it out yet, Bauvolution is like this hub for all things innovation in the construction industry. It's where those like really forward-thinking ideas,
Where the cutting edge stuff is happening.
Exactly. And this particular piece was written by Christian K. Carl back in August 2024, but it was recently updated in March 2025. So we know we're dealing with very current thinking here.
Yeah, that's key.
Absolutely. So I think what's really valuable about this article, especially for our listeners, who are busy professionals and don't have hours to spend like wading through research papers, is that it really gets to the heart of the matter right away.
For sure.
It boils down to this fundamental question of, will AI be this incredible tool that makes our jobs easier and more efficient?
Yeah.
Or is it going to actually like displace jobs and change the entire workforce?
Like, will be a partner or a competitor?
Exactly. That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so relevant.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about understanding the technology. It's about figuring out what it means for us, for our careers, for the future of the entire industry.
Totally. So let's get into it. The article starts off by talking about how AI is already showing up in construction and real estate.
Right.
And it's not always these like super futuristic things, sometimes like very practical software tools or even robots that are doing specific tasks.
Right. It's kind of creeping in ways we might not even realize.
Exactly. Like the article gives this example of the Kai roboter Maximo. I mean, that name alone sounds like something straight out of sci-fi.
Right. But it's a real thing. It's a robot that's already being used on construction sites to help with things like moving materials or assembling components.
It's wild, right?
It is. It makes you realize that this isn't just some far-off concept.
Yeah, this is happening now. And then beyond the robots, there are all these AI platforms popping up that are like designed to streamline and automate different parts of the process.
Yeah, and the article highlights a few really interesting ones.
Yeah, like Site,
Right. So
which is basically a digital land registry.
think about how much time and hassle that could save.
Oh my gosh, so much.
I mean, instead of digging through physical files or trying to track down information from different sources, you have everything you need right there, digitally accessible instantly.
Streamlined due diligence would be so much faster.
Exactly.
And then there are these platforms like Architectures or Property Max.
Yeah, those are more geared towards building plans.
What? Yeah, like they can analyze a potential building site and tell you if it's even feasible to build what you're envisioning.
And assess all sorts of factors like zoning regulations, environmental impact, structural feasibility.
It's incredible.
It is. And it's all powered by AI.
And the article also mentions a couple others like Janus and LookX.
Right.
And even though it doesn't go into detail about what they do specifically, it's clear that AI is being used across all these different stages of the construction and real estate lifecycle.
And that's really the key takeaway here.
Yeah.
AI is already woven into the fabric of these industries.
And that's only going to accelerate.
Exactly.
But one thing that really struck me in the article was this discussion about automated planning.
Right.
Like they talk about architects being able to generate design options in minutes instead of days or weeks.
I know, that's huge. It completely changes the game.
It really does. Because it frees up architects to focus on those like higher level creative decisions.
It's like the article uses this analogy of a baking oven.
Oh.
The oven handles the consistent time-consuming part of baking, but it doesn't replace the baker.
Right. The baker still needs to come up with the recipe, choose the ingredients, and ultimately make sure everything turns out delicious.
It's the same with architects. AI can handle the technical aspects of generating design options, but the architect is still the one driving the vision, the creativity, the overall aesthetic.
So it's not about AI taking over the architect's job.
Right.
It's about AI empowering the architect to do their job even better.
Exactly. And to be more efficient, more productive, and ultimately more creative.
Absolutely. And then there's a whole thing with AI-powered drones being used on construction sites.
Yeah, that's another game changer.
Like, can you imagine drones flying over a construction site, collecting all this data in real time?
And then AI analyzing that data to identify potential problems or safety hazards.
Like a worker not wearing a hard hat or a section of the building that's not quite aligned with the plans.
Exactly. And it can flag those issues immediately so the construction manager can address them before they become major problems.
It's like having an extra set of eyes constantly monitoring the entire site.
And it's not just about safety either. AI can also help with things like tracking progress, measuring materials, and even predicting potential delays.
It's like a whole new level of efficiency and accuracy.
Right. And again, it's not about replacing the human construction manager.
Right.
It's about giving them the information they need to make the best possible decisions.
So it's more like augmented intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
And the article actually makes a really important distinction between artificial intelligence and augmented intelligence.
Right, because the term artificial intelligence can sometimes be misleading.
Yeah, it conjures up these images of like robots taking over the world.
Right, like Skynet from the Terminator movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the article even jokes that August 29th is like the unofficial Skynet day.
Right. But the point is that augmented intelligence is something different.
Yeah, it's not about AI replacing humans.
Right. It's about AI enhancing human capabilities.
Like the article uses this really great analogy of a hammer.
Oh yeah, I love that analogy.
A hammer is a powerful tool, right?
Of course.
But it can't drive a nail by itself.
You need a human hand to wield the hammer, to guide it to apply the force.
And it's the same with AI. AI needs human direction to be effective.
It's a tool, not a replacement.
Exactly. And I think that's a really crucial point to keep in mind as we navigate this whole AI revolution.
Absolutely. But, of course, there are concerns.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest ones is what happens to jobs.
Right.
If AI can do more and more tasks, what happens to the people who used to do those tasks?
Just a valid concern.
The article actually addresses this head on. It brings up the example of a bricklayer.
Right.
Someone who's been laying bricks for 20 years has a ton of experience.
Right.
But now there's a machine that can lay bricks faster and more precisely.
So what happens to that bricklayer?
That's the question.
Hmm.
And it's a question that a lot of people are grappling with.
And it's not just bricklayers. It's like anyone whose job involves tasks that can potentially be automated.
Exactly. And the article really emphasizes the need for ongoing education and training.
Right.
It's not enough to just learn a skill once and then rely on that for your entire career.
You've got to constantly be upskilling and adapting.
Exactly. And that might mean learning how to operate AI-powered machinery.
Right.
Or managing projects that heavily utilize digital platforms.
Or maybe even moving into more strategic or management-oriented roles.
Yeah, because those are the roles that AI is less likely to be able to fill.
It's like the article says, instead of thinking about AI replacing jobs, we should be thinking about how it can transform jobs.
Yeah, that's a really important shift in perspective.
And it talks about how maybe that bricklayer doesn't get replaced by a robot.
Right.
Maybe they become the person who manages a team of robots.
Like a conductor of an orchestra of robots.
It's a cool image.
It is. It suggests that there will still be a need for human expertise, even in a world where AI is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
But the article also acknowledges that not everyone is starting from the same place. Like it talks about the need to support workers in what it calls materially and intellectually rather low threshold sectors.
So essentially jobs that don't require a lot of formal education or highly specialized skills.
Exactly. And the point is that we can't just leave those people behind.
We need to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to adapt and thrive in this new world of work.
It's about ensuring that technological progress benefits society as a whole, not just a select few.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really important ethical consideration.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's come back to that central question.
Right.
Is AI going to be a partner or a competitor in the future of work within construction and real estate?
Based on the article, it seems like the answer is both.
It's not a simple yes or no answer.
Right. It really depends on how we choose to use AI.
If we use it as a tool to augment our own capabilities to make us more efficient and more productive, then it can be an incredible partner.
But if we focus solely on using AI to replace human workers, then it inevitably becomes a competitor.
And the article makes this great analogy comparing the situation to a construction project itself.
Oh, yeah.
Like the quality of a building depends not just on the tools and materials that are used.
Right. It also depends on the skill of the builders and the way they collaborate with each other.
And it's the same with AI.
It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it and how we work together as humans and machines.
And the article ends on this really powerful note about how the future is not predetermined.
It's up to us to shape it.
Like, we have the power to decide whether AI will be a force for good or a force for disruption.
We need to take the helm and steer it in the right direction.
And for you, our listener, the key takeaway here is that AI is transforming the construction and real estate industries in profound ways.
But it's not a simple story of robots taking over.
It's a complex story with both opportunities and challenges.
And it's a story that we're all writing together.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day, think about how AI might impact your specific role or the future of the built environment in general.
What new skills will you need to develop?
How can you prepare yourself to thrive in this new world of work?
And most importantly, how can you be a part of shaping this future in a positive and beneficial way?
These are the questions that we all need to be asking ourselves.
And if you're interested in digging deeper into these topics, I highly recommend checking out Bovlution.
Yeah, it's a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve in the construction industry.
And they actually have an ISSN number, which is 29429145 if you want to find more of their publications.
So yeah, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those conversations going.
Because the future of work is in our hands.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This was Bovlution.
Where construction meets innovation. Until next time, keep building the future.